What's up everybody, my name is Dwight and welcome back to GeForce Garage. As we close out our celebration of the GeForce graphics card that started it all, the GeForce 256, Lee Harrington of PC Junkie Mods brought us not just one, but two more retro sleeper builds. Well, welcome back to the garage. Lee, what did you bring us today?
Today I brought a couple retro mods. One's an eMachine and one's a Gateway.
Nice. How did you come up with the concept behind these builds?
So I wanted the old look, but something new behind it, and the older chassis were very complicated. So what I did is found chassis that were similar dimensions and then replaced the hole behind the front panel.
Gotcha. So I can only assume that there was probably a lot of modding behind all that that may not be seen right away.
Yeah, they were both black, and now they're kind of like a off-white beige. So I had to take them, de-riveted them, get them powder coated, and make all the mods before I did that.
What about the front I/O? Do the power buttons work?
The eMachine was supposed to work, but there's like a PCB behind the power button and it's not working correctly. But I relocated all the I/O from the ASUS chassis to the bottom of the eMachine.
What about the Gateway?
The Gateway, I needed to make it user-friendly because if somebody needed to change fans in there, if I had all this wiring on the front panel, then it would have created kind of a headache for them to try to unwire everything. So this one actually has all the I/O up top, so it worked out pretty good that way.
Nice. Tell me a little bit more about the paint. Was that just spray paint? You just took them apart and spray painted them, or?
This is all powder coated, except for the Corsair does have some spray paint. I was able to find some rattle can that matched up pretty close to the powder coat that we used. So all the metal that you see is all powder coated.
Gotcha. So what was the most difficult part about doing this?
Getting the faceplates attached to the front of the chassis, and then on top of that also hot gluing all your faceplates for like DVD drives or floppy drives, things like that, because hot glue doesn't dry very fast.
Right, and you don't have a DVD drive behind it to hold those faceplates on anymore. Well, I think they look great. I think definitely from a distance you might look at them and be like, oh, that's a nice older computer, and as you get closer you start realizing, oh wait, no, there's actually some modern stuff inside of there.
Yeah.
So speaking of the parts, can you tell me a little bit about the specs?
They're both very similar in hardware. One's a micro and one's a full size. They're both powered by the GeForce RTX 4080 Super. They both have a Ryzen 7800 X3D. The eMachine has an ASUS TUF M-ATX motherboard and a crucial 1TB NVMe, 32 gigs of G.Skill RAM, and 850 watt Phanteks power supply. And then the Gateway has a MSI Tomahawk motherboard, mostly Corsair parts, so Corsair 32 gigs of RAM, Corsair NVMe 1TB, and a Corsair 850 watt power supply.
All right, well, let's install a couple of games on them and see how well they perform.
Let's do it.
Since both of the PCs have the same hardware, the FPS is going to be pretty much the same. And to keep with the retro feel, let's hit them with a couple of the classics. Over in Portal with RTX at 4K, DLSS 3.5, frame generation, and ray reconstruction on, we're hovering around the 60 to 70 FPS range. Heading over into Doom Eternal, again at 4K, DLSS on, and the graphics set to ultra hardcore, we're staying above 160 FPS the entire time. Now I know what you're thinking though, can it run Crysis? Well, let's go see. At 4K with DLSS and experimental RT on, I set the literal graphics settings to can it run Crysis, and turns out, yes. Yes it can. It stayed around 90 to 100 FPS. Both of these builds are amazing and they're both yours to win. Check out the GeForce social media pages for details. If you guys enjoyed this type of video and would like to see more, hit that subscribe button down below, and I'll see you for the next one.